terms of treatment plans, and I put this in here because I've had a really negative experience recently where I had planned ahead to the T. I called all the specialists involved. I planned to go to a specialist who knew mitochondrial disease, and it was for surgery, and I had consultation after consultation. Everything was looking great. I felt really confident, and I got to a different state, and when I arrived at the hospital, none of the nurses had heard about my plan, and it was really a very frustrating experience for me. And after the surgery, I was so worried about the surgery going well, and when I came out of surgery, all of a sudden everything just fell apart. The handover with the nurses didn't work effectively. The person in charge was off sick. There was no written protocols in place, and they didn't understand my condition in terms of the on-call doctor. And of course, then they gave me excess fluids to try and compensate for lactate levels, and they didn't understand that lactate was part of my condition. So then I ended up with fluid on my lungs, and I couldn't breathe very well. So what was supposed to be a very simple procedure ended up being really traumatic. And it's something that I would like to redo in so many different ways. And so it just showed me that it didn't matter how prepared I was, things went wrong. And so unfortunately, I've had to learn from that experience, a very negative experience, but I have to reflect on what I could do differently. And I can't rely on other people to fix things. I need to take control of that treatment plan, and I need to make sure that communication is universal. Everybody knows what's going on. And eventually I made it a formal complaint because I really do feel like things were let down. In a time where I felt completely helpless in communication, I really felt somebody else should have been able to step in and take control. So unfortunately, I've had to go to the next step of making a complaint, and that's been quite successful, to be honest. But you shouldn't have to get to that point. And this is really emphasizing the fact that we need to be the experts in our care. We really need to advocate. We need to have somebody there. If I didn't have my husband communicating for me, I would have missed out on so much information because I'm hearing impaired. So I would have not heard anything the doctor said to me. It was incredibly frustrating, incredibly, it made me just really helpless. And I think that's a really hard position to be in because I'm very much about self-advocating, and I was in a position where I couldn't. So think about those things. Think about how you can prevent as much as you can within your control. Ensure all your doctors really understand your needs, your condition. And when you look at the important documents to take, consider having a brief description of your condition. Tell them you're hearing impaired, you're visually impaired, got mobility issues, diabetes, whatever you need to let them know. Have an emergency protocol. If things go wrong, there's an option for them to refer to. Think of the list that you need to, the list of drugs that you need to avoid. This is really crucial, and I think it was really important in my treatment, is really making sure that you're not given the wrong medication. Also think of the list of current medications that you take and the dosage, because doctors won't let nurses administer medications unless they know what you're on. And obviously list your current doctors and their contact details. In that instance, they were able to call my endocrinologist, call my cardiologist, and really have discussions with them. So that's really useful to have on hand. And so again, I want to go back to empowerment, because there are times where you're going to feel like you want to give up. There's nowhere else to go. But I can guarantee you, we have the Mito Foundation. We've got a lot of resources available. And the aim here is really to make sure that you remember that you are as equal rights as anybody else, disability or no disability. And we need to bring this back to being able to take control of what you can. So I want to shift our thinking from feeling like we're powerless to taking control. And instead of looking at our illness in the foreground, I really want us to look at our wellness in the foreground. How can we focus on getting what we need to make ourselves feel well, as opposed to focusing on our illness?